Land tax, we hardly knew you. It's been about a week since the announcement of the ban of land tax in the pre-modern format, and I kind of wanted to just give my thoughts on the whole thing. First, I just want to start off by saying that the decision to unban land tax back in 2018, I think that was actually great for the format. It introduced a powerful card, one that really inspired a lot of brewing, was very competitive in the format for a long time, and really led to some interesting decisions. Whether it was the correct card to ban, I'm a little bit more hesitant to say that. I have a lot of conflicted feelings. It's a very strong card, but it's also, I think, one that became very iconic of the format. It was definitely a reason to play pre-modern compared to other formats. It's something that's very unique and offers a lot of interesting decisions. In uh, for pre-modern. People are saying that this is going to see, a lot, more creature decks, because Parfait is basically killed. However, Oath of Druids is still out there, and Oath of Druids presents its own problems. And historically, that's, been a very, very powerful card. Even without land tax. So we're still definitely going to see Oath decks, but one of my concerns is this kind of disrupt the balance that was in the format. I do think that the format was adapting to land tax and finding ways to beat it. So it's definitely like Stifle Not like had a good matchup. Land Still was starting to make a resurgence thanks to its um, favorable matchup against Parfait. Whereas before, Land Still was hardly ever seen because of the rise of decks like Elves, and also things like Pit Rack, which kind of punished the blue decks. Um, but then again, land tax basically pushed the Pit Rack decks out of the format. So I think there was some adjusting that we were starting to see. Definitely a lot more Tranquil Domains, more main deck disenchants. I don't think that necessarily a bad thing for the format, but it's definitely something which uh, was unpopular, I would say, amongst a lot of the player base. So it's difficult for me to say that this was, the right ban just for, I think, the good things that came from land tax in the format. Um, at the end of the day, though, I, give a lot more weight to the opinions of the TOs. Um, uh, and there's definitely been some who have been very vocal about how bad land tax was in terms of tournament logistics and dragging on particularly like top eight matches. Um, and that is a very real issue, I think, with the card. There was a recent comment I saw, and this pertained more to old school, but someone basically said, "Don't do anything which makes more work for a TO, or you'll no longer have a TO." And that's really important for just a community-driven format like pre-modern. One thing I think which should be said in terms of uh, a good reason to ban land tax, which hasn't really been mentioned, is this whole engine right here basically allows you to play 5 color decks with very, very little drawback. And I've said before that one of the big problems, with pre-modern is that the cost of going from 2 to 3 colors is about the same price of going from 2 to 5 colors. So you might as well jump up to that 5 colors. Um, and funny enough, I don't think that land tax would have been much of a problem if the fixing was a little better for the common decks, not having to the ones not running land tax and Mox Diamond. If Marsh Flats was legal, Dead Guy was be a lot more force and be able to disrupt the land tax decks much more consistently. Uh, the Pit Rat decks would have been easily able to play a Verdant Catacombs and play Pernicious Deed, something like that, and just be able to wipe the board with the tax rack engine. But that's not the format that we play in, and you know, allowing things like the enemy fetch lands come with its own issues. So I think that there were tools to be able to beat land tax, but it took some digging, um, and at the same time, some decks really just couldn't. we couldn't hope to beat land tax easily. But at the same time, I also see that true of being, you know, of several other decks, including elves, which is one of my favorites. I'd hate to see, elves take a ban. That's one of my favorite decks in the format. So yeah, like I said, I think um, you know pre-modern's going to be fine. There's going to be balance. I see Pit Rack coming back, and hopefully that's able to, you know, keep the tribal decks and the aggro decks in line the same way that Parfait Oath did, or Pink Prison. Um, we'll see how things adjust. I think Stiflenot is going to see, other decks be able to come up and beat it because Stiflenot, has gone through definitely its waves, and I think one of the reasons why we saw Stiflenot doing pretty well is because it did do well against Parfait and the Pink Prisons and that sort of thing. So not worried about any of that, but it's interesting to see where this will go. Um, Bans are always, kind of difficult, and I feel bad for the people who were heavily invested in this deck. I loved, Pink Prison. I played my first monthly against Galen LeMay, and he devastated me dreams into the earth, and I was, able to do that to some other people once I, saw the list. Um, but all end here with two things. First is a little story time about land tax, why it's kind of a special card to me and it's nostalgic. Back when I was a kid, I started playing in tournaments when I was like 10 or 11 years old. And at one of my first ones, there was a guy who was, the local Mr. Briefcase, had a huge collection. And he was asking for a land tax. Um, and no one at the shop. I mean, they're all grown men and everything. None of them had a land tax, but I, whipped it out in my, huge box of cards, which were mostly bulk, and I had my fourth edition land tax, and he just set his binder in front of me, and he was like, "Pick one." Huge smile on his face, and I just opened it up, and there's all like I just remember seeing tons of Legends cards, original English Legends, like a page full of mana drains. He had like all the original Elder Dragon Legends, and I was really thinking of picking up a Solkanar Swamp King, which would have been the correct decision. Good card, as well as maintained its value a lot over time. That would have been a really sweet one, especially for a kid to have. But me being the 10-year-old that I was, I picked the Polar Kraken. So not the best trade in my history, but yeah, that's I traded away my first land tax for that. When I was in high school, I picked up, a mono white deck, from a kid who was leaving the game, and he had four beat up, beat down box sets, copies of land tax, and later on in pre-modern, I flipped those into my Italian legends that I've got now. So it'll be sad not being able to play with them, but on a final thing, I'm going to share a video of a match I played back in the March 2023 monthly against Michael Hoyp, who's on with Parfait. And I do enjoy the challenge of playing against good decks and finding ways to be able to beat them. When Elves was really rising up, I talked to a lot of people about how to beat Elves, even though I was, an elf player myself. But I really enjoy being able to find the ways to be able to find the chinks in the armor and challenge these powerful juggernauts. And I think I found some good ways to do it, and that's what we're going to see here with the match that I played against with my mono brown mud. I cut the metal workers to be able to not trigger opposing Oath of Druids, and I also packed a couple Jester's Caps in the sideboards to be able to take these decks on. So I realized that not a lot of people, enjoyed playing against Lantax. It kind of exhibited a lot of the kind of like that the toxic gameplay, like you're not actually playing Magic when you're playing a game. But at the same time, that is very representative of the pre-modern format. The Armageddons, the Stone Rains, the Spheres of Resistance. Those all kind of come with the territory. To some people, it's a bug. To some people, it's a feature. And that's one of the reasons why I think that the land tax ban has, been as controversial as it has been. Um, Again, not sure if it was required because of the power level of the deck. I didn't necessarily see that compared to the other ones, but um, I hope you just at least enjoy my match against Michael Hoyp and kind of see how the ways that I found to be able to fight the Parfait deck. All right, enjoy. I'll go ahead and keep this.
Okay, I will keep.
Wasteland and play Vice.
Okay.
And I'll
So
pass you.
I'll take 3. I'll draw. I'll play a Plains, a land tax, and a Tormod's Crypt.
Aha.
Yes. Go ahead.
All right, untap, draw. Play Factory and play Mindstone.
Okay.
And then I'll pass you.
All right. I have 5 cards in hand, so I'll take 1 down to
Yep.
16.
Yep.
I guess I'm not gonna trigger land tax.
Okay.
I'll draw. I will. I'll play a Windswept Heath. I'll go to 15. I'm going to get a Forest and cast an Oath of Druids.
Okay.
And then you can go ahead.
Let's untap and draw. Play Port. 4. Play Dynamo.
Okay.
Play Tanglewire.
Okay.
And then I'll pass you.
All right. I will tap these permanents.
Mm-hmm.
I will not trigger land tax. I have 4 cards in hand. I will draw.
Okay.
I will play a Sarah's Sanctum. I'll tap it for 2 to play a land tax. Go ahead.
Okay. Untap. Fade will resolve first.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tangle down. 1, 2, 3. Draw for turn. 3, 4. Smokestack.
Yep.
Sphere.
Okay.
And then I will go ahead and pass you.
All right. I will tap 3. I'll tap these 3. I have some land tax. Oh, no, I don't have a land tax trigger. Okay. I will draw for turn. I have 3 cards in hand before I draw. So I will. Tap for 3 to cast a Zurin Orb.
Okay.
So I have 2 floating. I will pass a turn.
All right, untap. Fade's going to resolve first, so counters are going to resolve last.
Okay.
With everything. So 2, Tangle down, sacrifice trigger, and then tick up.
Mm-hmm.
I will draw. I am going to Wasteland your Sanctum.
I'll gain 2. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll go to 17.
That's good. Let's go ahead, activate Factory, and attack for 2.
I go to 15.
And then I'll pass you. And I will stack it so you have to sacrifice first and then Tangle.
And then tap. I will. I will sacrifice a land tax. Then I tap 2.
2.
All right. I'll tap those 2.
And then after that, I will go ahead and port your planes.
Okay. Okay. I have 3 cards in hand. I will draw.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead.
Untap. Fade 1. Tangle. Sacrifice. I'm going to sacrifice the Mind Stone.
Okay.
And they'll tick up to 2. I'll draw. That. 3. I'm going to play another sphere.
Okay.
And I will, let's see. I'll go ahead and activate Factory and attack for 2.
Okay, I go to 13.
And then I'll pass with 2 in hand.
End of turn. Okay, so upkeep. Yeah, I have to sack now. I'll gain 2. I'll go to 15. Okay, so I have to tap 1 and then sack 2.
Sacrifice 2 first and then tap.
Okay, yeah. I will sacrifice 1 and 2. And then I tap 1. I will trigger land tax. I will go. So Black Vice has resolved already, right?
Correct. Yeah, Black Vice always
Right.
resolves first because your
Yeah, I have
triggers.
4. Yeah. All right. I'll get 2 planes. 1, 2. Okay. I will draw for turn. I will play a planes.
Mm-hmm.
And I will pass the turn.
All right, this is a 2, untap. Fade, smokestack,
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice 1 and 2.
Okay.
I will draw for turn. And let's see. Yeah, I will activate Factory and attack for 2.
Yeah, I'll take 2 down to 13.
All right, and I'll pass with 3 in hand.
End of turn, I'm going to pay 2 and then discard a planes to destroy your smokestack.
Okay.
With abolish.
Yep.
All right. Upkeep. I have 4 cards in hand.
Okay.
I do not trigger land tax. I will draw.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead.
Untap. Draw. Let's play an Ancient Tomb. 5, go to 18.
Okay.
6, smokestack.
Okay.
And past you. 2 in hand.
Let's see here. I will end of turn sacrifice to gain 2. I go to 15.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Upkeep. I will take 1. I have 5 cards in hand. I'll go to 14. And I'll trigger land tax. I'm going to get 2 planes. I will draw for turn. I will play a planes. I'll pay 2 for a Mox Diamond and discard a planes. And you can go ahead.
All right, untap, sacrifice, and then soot. Tick up,
Mm-hmm.
draw. City of Traders, 3, 4, 5. Play Tangle Wire.
Okay.
Take 2 to activate Factory,
Yep.
and attack for 2.
16, I go to 12.
All right, and then I'll pass to you, and you'll sacrifice first, and then Tangle.
Okay, I will. Um, I will sacrifice land tax.
Mhm.
I take 1 from Black Vice. Oh, I Tangle Air for 4. And I go to 11.
Mhm.
I will draw. You can go ahead.
Untap, fade first, Tangle 3. 1, 2, 3. Smokestack on the stack. I'm going to float 2. I'm going to activate Factory, and then I'll
Okay.
sacrifice the City of Traders
Okay.
and draw. Play another Factory.
Mm-hmm.
I will attack in for 2 and pump for 3.
Okay. I go to 8.
I did not take up the smokestack. Oh well.
I think you'll
That'll
be
teach
okay.
me. I'll fast you.
All right. I will sacrifice. Sacrifice a Zurin Orb.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tap 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take 2 damage down to 6. I'll draw. Yeah, you got it. Let's go to game 2. It's next week, the 25th. So
Okay.
not this weekend, but the next.
All right, right on.
So I will. I'll keep.
I'm going to keep as well.
Okay. I'm going to start with a plains and a land tax. You can go ahead.
All right. I will draw. I'll play an Ancient Tomb. I'll go to 18.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to play a Mind Stone.
Okay.
And then I'm going to play a Furnace.
Okay.
I'll pass with 5 in hand.
All right. I'll draw. Upkeep. I guess upkeep. I'm going to cast Enlightened Tutor.
Sure.
I will get a Mox Diamond.
I will then exile that Enlightened Tutor whenever you get a chance.
I'll draw this.
Yep.
I will play it and discard a Windswept Heath. And
Okay.
you can go ahead.
Let's untap. Furnace.
Mm-hmm.
I'll draw for turn. I'll go ahead and take 2, 16.
Okay.
I'll play Worn Power Stone.
Okay.
I will then pass with 5 in hand.
Okay. I will. All right. I will untap and draw.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play a Guy's Blessing to draw a card.
Okay.
And you can go ahead.
Untap, upkeep, exile the blessing, draw.
Mhm.
Okay. City Traders. Take 2, 14. Play Dynamo.
Okay.
3-4. Jester's Cap,
Okay.
and I'll activate the cap.
All right. Do you want me to name threats? Do you just want me to sort it out?
Let's see
What's the
your
best
win
way?
conditions first. I
All right.
just gotta.
I mean, in general, I guess it could just be like scroll wrecking and not dying, but I will have. I'll just start sorting stuff. I have Armageddon, Duress. Um, there's Aura Silence. Another Torment Script. 2 Torment Scripts. Can you get lands from that? Or is it.
I can get anything, yeah.
Okay.
Zer's weirding. There's a win condition.
Mm-hmm. There's 2 Guys Blessings left and 2 Oaths. Seal Cleansing. There's 2 Armageddons. There's still 4 Scroll Racks and then a bunch of lands.
And so I don't see any creatures.
Correct. But you do see Oath of Druids.
I do see Oath of Druids. Do I want Oath of Druids? The answer is no. 4 Scroll Rocks out. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. No creatures
also, there's
in there.
a Sarah Sanctum and 4 Undiscovered Paradise, and then it's a bunch of basics.
Okay.
This land tax is in play.
It's our decision.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you do here.
Because if I can't strip all your win conditions, there's a creature unaccounted for. Let's just take the 3 auras.
Okay. Exile. I get to do some shuffling.
Yep.
You got to cap anyone?
I have not. That was my first
Right.
cap. I'm very excited for it.
I've never been capped. I don't think I've ever been capped in real life, so.
Then after I do that, I will go ahead and pass to you. So if you're going to land tax, you don't even need to shuffle now, I guess.
Okay. I am going to land tax. All right, so I'll untap. I'll get 3 lands. I will get a plains, a swamp, and a plains. And then I guess I will upkeep an Enlightened Tutor.
Sure.
And get a Scroll Rack.
Okay.
So that goes on top. I will draw that. I will play a plains and play a Scroll Rack. And these go to my hand, and you can go ahead.
Untap, upkeep, Furnace you, draw.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go 3-4. Play Dynamo.
Okay.
Play a Tangle Wire.
Okay.
And then play a Port. Or play a Keg, sorry.
Powder. Okay.
I will go ahead and pass to you.
Okay, upkeep. I am going to scroll rack. I'll scroll rack for my full hand of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my hand now. I will tap these. These go on top. I will draw for turn.
Mhm.
I will play. I will not play anything. You can go ahead.
In a turn, I'm going to pop the keg.
Sure.
For 0. Untap, upkeep. I'll furnace you. Fade to 3. Tap 1, 2, and 3. Draw for turn. I'll tap for 3 and crack the Mind Stone with 2 floating.
Okay.
Tap that, leave 1 floating, play a smokestack.
Okay.
I'll then play a port, sacrificing City of Traders.
All right.
And I will pass to you.
Okay. Upkeep. I will have to tap 3. I will scroll rack for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will. How many cards in your hand?
Just 1.
Just 1. Okay, I will put it on top like that. I will draw for. Oh, this gets tapped. And then there's no counters yet. I will draw for turn. I will play a plains and another land tax. I will play a Tormod script.
Okay.
And you can go ahead.
All right, untap. This will fade to 2. I'll tap 2 things. I'm actually going to uptick smokestack first.
Okay.
Put a 1 on it, and then sacrifice the tomb.
Okay.
And I think that's good. Yep. Draw for turn. I'm going to play a port, and then I'll pass you and sacrifice trigger. We'll go on
Okay.
we'll resolve first. This will resolve
I'll
first.
sacrifice up. I'll float a white and then sacrifice this. So I had to tap 2.
And in response to Tangle Wire, I'm just going to go ahead and port your 2 lands.
2 lands. All right, I will float 2. All right, 3 floating mana. I will scroll rack. So I have 2 floating mana. I'm going to put 3 cards back. 1, 2, 3. I guess I should figure out which one I want to draw. I will draw that one. I have 2 floating mana. Okay. This will get tapped. I'll draw for turn.
Mhm.
And you can go ahead.
All right, untap. Upkeep. Furnace you. I'm going to fade this first. Tap down. I will sacrifice 1 land to Smokestack and then tick this up.
Okay.
All right, I will draw. And I will pass with 2 in hand.
Okay. So just sack 2.
Yeah, sacrifice 2 first and then
And then
Tangle
I'll have
Wire.
to tap 1.
Correct.
I will sacrifice a Tormod's Crypt and a land tax.
And with Tangle Wire on the stack, I will go ahead and port you. Just 1.
Okay. I will. All right. The one you port, I'll float. So to tap 1. I will tap a Scroll Rack. With the floating mana, I'm going to use Enlightened Tutor.
Okay.
I'm going to go get. I'll get a Steel Cleansing.
Okay.
Okay. That goes on top. I will draw.
Mhm.
I will play a Plains and a Seal Cleansing. And then you can go ahead.
All right, untap. Upkeep. Fade first.
Mm-hmm.
Trigger.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll make you do it. I'll sacrifice these 2.
It was 1 Power Stone and what was the other card?
Power Stone and then Tangle Wire.
And Tangle Wire. Okay.
And I'll tick this up to 3.
Okay.
Furnace you.
Yeah.
And draw. I'll play Factory. And I'm going to play Vice.
All right. I have 3 in hand right now.
I'll pass to you.
I'll get rid of the Smokestack.
Okay.
All right. Upkeep.
I'm going to port you, tapping an island, tapping a Plains.
I will float a white. I'll just Korek for 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I will draw for turn.
Mhm.
I will. You have 1 card in hand.
1 card.
You can go ahead.
Untap. Upkeep. Furnace.
Mm-hmm.
Draw. Play Factory.
Yep.
Play Power Stone.
Okay.
I'll activate Factory and
Yep.
attack for 2.
I go to 18.
And I'll pass the turn.
Okay.
And stop on your
Upkeep.
upkeep.
Yep.
And port.
Yeah, I'll Scroll Rack for 4, I guess. One, two, three, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I will draw. draw there. All right. I have 4 in hand before I draw. I draw. I will play. I'll play an Undiscovered Paradise.
Mhm.
And I'll play another Scroll Rack.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Untap, upkeep, Furnace you.
Yeah.
I will draw. I'll activate both factories.
Yep.
And I'll attack him for 4.
Okay. I go to 14.
All right, I'll pass with 1 in hand.
Okay. I will go to my upkeep.
Upkeep, I'll go ahead and port your Paradise.
Okay. I will. I'll tap it for mana. I'll Scroll Rack for 3.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Then I will draw. I'll play a Windswept Heath.
Mhm.
And you can go ahead.
Untap, upkeep, Furnace.
Yeah.
And draw. I'll activate both factories.
Okay.
And I'll swing for 4.
And I will fetch. I'll go to 13.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go get a forest. All right. I will Scroll Rack for 3.
Okay.
Okay. That one the most. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I will take 4.
And the second Scroll Rack is tapped, correct?
Oh, yes, sorry.
And then post combat, I will go ahead and play Tangle Wire.
Okay.
And then I'll pass to you.
Okay, so I untap. This goes back to my hand. And then I have to tap.
With Wire on the stack, I'll go ahead and port the forest.
Okay, I will float a mana. I will. So I'm going to have to tap 4 of these.
Mhm.
I guess I Scroll Rack now for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, and then I tap 4. And I have 4 cards in hand. I'll draw.
Mhm.
I'll play a Mox Diamond, discarding a Plains.
Mhm.
And I will play a Tormod's Crypt.
Okay.
And then you can go ahead.
Then tap cards in hand.
I have 2.
Furnace you on upkeep. We'll take this down and then Tangle. 1, 2, and 3. Draw for turn. No, I don't mind that. Tap for 3. I'll play Powder Keg.
Okay.
I'll pop the keg for 0.
I'll exile your graveyard.
Yep.
Okay.
I have 1 floating. You have 4 lands. I'll go ahead and play a Crystal Vein.
Okay.
I'll I'll use my mana floating and the crystal vein. I'll go ahead and activate the factories
Okay.
and swing it for 4.
I got a 5.
And I'll pass to you.
Okay, so
With Tangle Wire on the stack, I will port the forest again.
okay, I'll tap 1, 2, and 3. I will draw. I'll play a swamp. And you can go ahead.
All right, untap. Upkeep Furnace you.
Mm-hmm.
Fade. Tangle. And draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I will go ahead, activate the factories,
Yep.
and attack for 4.
I got a 1.
All right, and I'll pass with 1 in hand.
Okay. Upkeep.
And port the. We'll port the swamp. Why not?
Okay. All right. I have 2 that I need to tap.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tap these. I will draw. I will cast an Armageddon.
Okay. I'll float 2.
Yeah.
Just because.
Then you can go ahead. I have 2 cards in hand.
Untap. Tick down. Fade. Furnace you.
Mm-hmm.
And I will draw. 5. I'll play Masticore.
Okay.
And then I'll pass the turn.
That's not good for me. All right. I have to tap 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will draw. I should have played a land. Yep, I'm dead. Good games.
Right. Good games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I played Rich with this deck before, it still had the metal workers in it.
Okay.
And certainly I think taking the metal workers out helps out a ton against you.
Sure, that you just don't have a card to commit. It's basically like a dead card kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still feel like, I mean, things definitely can go wrong, but like, I feel like if the games go that many turns, I feel like I should be advantaged. Like me being able to scroll rack that many turns, I feel like I should be able to do more than I did. But I could have gotten Aura of Silence earlier, but there was never a turn I think I could have got it and played it in the same turn.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, oh, I'll just get a scroll rack. I think I still had a line tutor for a while. But yeah, it definitely felt like I could have done some things different at some points, but I'm not sure exactly. I'm also not sure if like meddling mage is supposed to come in.
I mean, I beat Remy even through like multiple meddling mages.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not sure. It's just a weird deck. Like no other deck in the format is quite like Mud. I took out the helixes. I'm not sure if that's correct, or if I want to take out like the masticores, just so I have like total prison on you. And I shaved a winter orb because you don't run like too many lands. You have ways to deal with it. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At least I got to Jester's Gap someone.
Yes. That's an experience. Yeah, I don't even know what like you're supposed to take. I think that makes sense to get the Aura of Silence. Like it's probably the card that's the most problematic in the short term.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in general, like you can't take away all my like ways to not die kind of thing. So it's I think I like what you did on that spot. So
yeah, did you have creatures still in the deck?
yeah, I had an Ancestors Chosen.
Okay.
But I mean, like a lot of times I played against a lot of decks with like without less creatures. I board out like both the druids a number of times.
Mm-hmm.
And the times I've seen Rich, and I don't think he always does that.
Okay.
But I mean, like I have an Acroma in the sideboard. I thought about bringing that in, but it's like I don't feel like you're ever gonna play a creature until like you have things locked up. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Like I said, against Jesse, I think I took out the Master Course. I'll have to go back and actually check, but I think,
yeah,
you know, because yeah, if I would have had the Helixes in rather than the Master Course, I would have prevented Armageddon from even happening. So
okay.
yeah, kind of interesting, but um, I think you can build a very competitive mud deck for a Parfait or just control type metagame. I think it's actually pretty good for that.
I know the
And
times that I play the deck, like the hands that you can like open with a Seer Resistance are just like way different than anything else. Or just a lot of times I had like an early City of Traders or Ancient Tomb into Mind Stone, either into Black Vice, or then just had like an early Winter Orb and then a port. And if I had
yeah,
Mind Stone and port and like Black Vice and or basically Mind Stone, port, and Winter Orb, like
mhm,
that's really all I like really needed. Um, and since you can get those down so early that most decks can't do anything against it, and then
mhm,
you're just it slows them down so much.
yep,
I mean like the deck I probably play. I mean, I've played the mud before, but I've also played the like Atog Fling, which
mhm,
is a
oh yeah,
lot of the same like same cards. Um, but like yeah, the those draws are just I thought really good and underappreciated, I guess.
yeah. I mean, you've beaten me with Atog Fling before,
Yeah,
and yeah, Sphere is very good
yeah,
against Parfait in
well, yeah.
particular
Okay, I
because
was
you're
gonna say
just
I thought you were talking about elves, and I'm like, yeah, it was problematic when I had like spheres and pyroclasms or whatnot, and so it was
yes,
very difficult for you to kind of find your spot. But yeah,
yeah. Anyways, good games, and congrats on winning the pod.
yeah,
Even with that, and yeah,
thank you. Yeah, good games.
gonna win your second. It would be second, no, or second of three.